Now, the Israeli forces have stormed the Al-Nasser hospital in the Gaza Strip. Now, this is the largest functioning hospital at the moment in the beleaguered Palestinian enclave. Now, the Israeli forces claim that they have detained a number of suspects from inside the Al-Nasser hospital. And they also say that this is an operation that they've carried out on the basis of intelligence that they gathered in part from the hostages who were released. The IDF forces also claim that they believe that a number of dead hostages' bodies are being held inside the Al-Nasser hospital by Hamas. However, Hamas has rubbished all of these claims, saying that the Israeli troops simply have no business to storm the Al-Nasser hospital.
We have credible intelligence from a number of sources, including from released hostages, indicating that Hamas held hostages at the Nasser hospital in Khan Yunis, and that there may be bodies of our hostages in the Nasser hospital facility.
Now, the update came after doctors and medical officials in southern Gaza said that the Israeli snipers had shot dead a number of people as they tried to flee the Nasser hospital. An eyewitness to the shootings, who is a trauma surgeon at the hospital, said that at least about 2 people were killed by Israeli snipers, with more being shot and injured. During the storming of the hospital, the Israeli forces say that they had assured the Al-Nasser hospital staff that patients and staff were not obliged to leave and that the medics could, of course, continue treating the Palestinian patients. Now, this storming of the Al-Nasser hospital has come a day after hundreds of civilians were forced out by the Israeli forces from the hospital, which they've been using as a shelter in this ongoing onslaught on Gaza. Now, remember, this is not the first time that the IDF has attacked a hospital in the Gaza Strip. There have been instances such as the Al-Shifa hospital, which was the largest medical complex in Gaza, that was put under siege by Israel in the middle of November in 2023 after Israel claimed that the medical facility was being used by Hamas as a command and control center beneath it. The Al-Quds hospital was left to fend for itself from the Israeli onslaught and later had to cease its operations due to a fuel shortage. Now, the Indonesian hospital was so severely damaged by the Israeli attacks that it never managed to open again. Now, according to reports, a Hamas team is headed to Cairo to meet with the Egyptian and Qatari mediators a day after the Israeli negotiators held talks with the mediators. The CIA Director William Burns had joined Tuesday's talks with David Barnea, the head of Israel's Mossad intelligence service, which the Egyptian media said had been mostly positive. Netanyahu said that Israel had pushed for the release of hostages through strong military pressure and also some pretty firm negotiations. And I earlier spoke with Ms. Morgan Lorraine Wiener, who is a senior fellow at the National Security Institute, who joined me live from Washington, D.C. And this is what she had to say about what is unfolding at this moment in the Gaza Strip from an American perspective. Listen in.
So what we've seen, particularly in Gaza as of late, is we have Hamas spreading throughout the country. When Israel originally went into Gaza, they started in the northern part of the country, and then they unveiled a number of the tunnel network system that Hamas had constructed underneath civilian infrastructure. That includes hospitals, that includes schools, UNRWA facilities. And so they have pushed Hamas throughout the territory. And so I don't think it's much of a surprise that we've seen Hamas make its way south, particularly towards Rafah. Clearly, that's what we've seen with a number of the hostages being released. And Israel has continued that surge. Clearly, the Americans, the Biden administration has expressed severe concern about the civilian casualties. It is clearly tragic when civilians are hurt during war. I would note, though, that the Israelis have consistently made the argument that this is Hamas's own doing, that they were the ones that went in and killed 1,200 Israelis on October 7th. And if they had released the hostages, much of this devastation could be prevented.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.